Commentator Charlie Kirk. Authorities say 22-year-old Tyler Robinson shot and killed Kirk last Wednesday during that public debate event at Utah Valley University. Investigators have still not released an official motive. However, FBI Director Patel says his family told investigators that he subscribed to left-wing ideologies. So with formal charges still to come, criminal defense attorney Josh Kolsrud joins us to talk about some legal insight. I wanted to ask you, first of all, this being so public, the whole world knows about it basically. How does that change things?
Well, everything is under a microscope, obviously.
I would imagine.
And that means that we're all nitpicking what should happen or what isn't happening, and there are a lot of assumptions about what's going to happen. Now, here's what we know. The indictment is coming out today, and we expect charges of aggravated murder, unlawful discharge of a firearm, and obstruction of justice. But another story that people aren't necessarily talking about are possible federal charges. Now, here, the Patriot Act was most likely triggered because a public official, Charlie Kirk, was assassinated for political reasons. That means that the conspiracy statute under federal law is expanded, and those that were talking to Mr. Robinson, the accused in this case, and giving him a thumbs up or saying that they would publish his dossier or memoir, they're all going to be liable for criminal charges, which ordinarily would not be available if the Patriot Act was not triggered.
Okay. A much wider effect then in that case. Talk about, we've heard about all the different evidence that, investigators say they have.
Yeah, so great question. I'll tell you why. So one of the issues that's going to be in this case is that Mr. Robinson allegedly confessed to the crime to his pastor. Now, in criminal law, when anybody confesses something to a pastor, it's privileged. It's like when a person talks to their lawyer. They can't be compelled to testify. So if that confession doesn't come in, and we already know that Mr. Robinson invoked his right to remain silent, the FBI and law enforcement are going to have a lot more evidence to prove motive and the fact that this person committed the assassination.
Does that go along with we hear he's not cooperating, so they're just going to have to leave no stone unturned?
Exactly. So he did invoke his right to remain silent. He did not speak to investigators once he got to the police station. But what we know is that from Kash Patel, they are talking to everybody who ever knew this person. And they've talked to his love partner. They've talked to the people on Discord and Reddit. I fully expect that we're going to find out a lot more information today.
Yeah, it'll be interesting what happens. Talk about, there's been a push to, we've heard from a lot of people that they want the death penalty if he's found guilty.
So the death penalty is going to be available with these charges. Aggravated murder, which is, again, a charge that we expect to come out today in Utah, does carry the death penalty. Also, there may be a parallel prosecution from the federal government that also carries the death penalty. Now, we saw parallel prosecutions in a famous Arizona case a few years ago when John Roll, the judge, was assassinated in Tucson. You had a parallel federal prosecution with the state prosecution as well. So it's not infrequent that you see these kind of things with public executions.
Well, what about the firing? They still have a firing squad. What are the chances? How do they decide on that?
Well, that'll be probably up to the governor to choose the means of which a person is. No, I think that it would go past the judge at that point to decide that. Now, in Utah, like in other states, they have various forms that executions can be executed, for lack of a better word.
Yeah. All right. Boy, that's going to be interesting. Josh, always great talking to you.
Thank you, Josh.
Thank you so much for your insight.
Always appreciate it.
All right, I want to show you a live